front and center after Arizona Senator Kyrsten Sinema spoke out once again about ditching the Democratic Party.
January 6th, which is a horrible day from 2 years ago, created, I think, concern and fear for every patriotic American across the country. But in the resulting 2 years, the Democratic Party shared a narrative that said we would not have any more free and fair elections in this country if the United States Congress didn't eliminate the filibuster and pass a massive voting rights package. As we all know, the filibuster was not eliminated. That massive voting rights bill was not passed through Congress.
She's telling the world what she thinks is absolutely wrong about the left. The left, as you can imagine, pounced on Senator Sinema's remarks. And that high five with fellow moderate Joe Manchin. This from social media. After Manchin, Sinema chose to stand with the GOP and refused to repeal the filibuster, the child tax credit expired and childhood poverty increased by 41%, which meant 3.7 million more children were forced into poverty. But yeah, high fives all around. Horrid. Yeah, they're mad at her. Jason Riley, Wall Street Journal columnist and Fox News contributor. Kevin Walling, former Biden campaign surrogate. Great to see you both. And there is the high five, the moment. Kevin, your reaction.
Well, Harris, it's wild to see that come out of Davos. Listen, you know, I think everything Senator Sinema says now is through the lens of political survival. I actually knew her back when she was in the House. I actually like her a great deal. And she has been able to deliver on some bipartisan compromises when it comes to the infrastructure bill, when it comes to the marriage bill that passed the Senate just last year. So, but again, everything she is doing and saying is to guard against, I think, a primary challenge from the left in just 2 years. Ruben Gallego, a House member, has indicated he wants to challenge her. So I think everything needs to be taken with a grain of salt with what Senator Sinema is saying overseas.
Yeah. So it's interesting, Jason, because I don't know, maybe that creates an opening for somebody else from a different party to step up if they want to fight within their own party.
Perhaps that's true, but I tend to agree that you know, the first rule of electoral politics is self-preservation, and she is worried about a challenge back home. And while she might have some disagreements with her party ideologically, I mean, the fact of the matter is she's going to keep her committee assignments. She's going to continue to vote for the president's nominees. I mean, she voted with Joe Biden 90% of the time last Congress. I expect that to continue. This really is about local politics back home. She thinks she might have a better chance of winning as an independent because she's unpopular with Democrats.
You know what is true? The politics in Arizona and other places, as California kind of empties out and people go east, are changing as well. And 9/10 of the law is that you're in the seat already. So we'll see how that works out. You know, why do it so publicly, though? I guess that was my big thing. You're on a world stage talking economics, but you're talking about a filibuster. Just real quickly, right back to you, Jason.
Well, you know, the other thing she might be thinking of, and again, this has to do with the next election, is that the Democrats will have to defend twice as many seats as Republicans in 2024. And if Republicans do take back the Senate, you know, maybe she'll be better positioned if that scenario plays out. But again, I think this is about politics and not necessarily ideological.
Well, critics are tearing into John Kerry for what they say was straight up crazy talk in Davos. Here's the climate czar.
I mean, it's so almost extraterrestrial to think about, quote, saving the planet. And if you said that to most people, they think you're just a crazy tree-hugging, lefty, liberal, you know, do-gooder, whatever. And there's no relationship. But really, that's where we are.
He thinks aliens are going to save us? Larry Kudlow with this hot take.
Mr. Kerry gives the usual doom and gloom riff that we're not going to cut carbon and fossil fuels fast enough to save the planet. And to prove his point, he blamed the recent rainstorm floods in California as proof positive, thereby once again showing that climate alarmists have never been able to distinguish between yesterday's weather and long-term climate changes. So,
Kevin, do we have that picture with all the private jets? Hold on a second. We'll pop it up. You know how he rolls. And we don't know how he got there. He's got a lot of friends with jets, so who knows? Maybe John Kerry flew commercial, but I think that'd make huge news. Look, the hypocrisy here really is a problem. It's not that people don't want to transition and don't love the earth. It's that they're being forced to live by rules that, well, the richest among us refuse to live by.
Listen, I think you're right, Harris. I think one of the good things that happened during COVID, unfortunately, was the fact that so many of these conferences were moved online. And you saw, for the first time, you could see to the bottom of Venice's waterways because of the lack of carbon in our environment. So when you see all these private jets flying into Davos for this, part of it is a climate conversation conference, you see hypocrisy front and center. And I hope we move some of these conversations more online. But, we're not going to move the ball down the field whatsoever until we hold the biggest polluters like China and India accountable. And that's what, Secretary John Kerry is trying to do,
Kevin,
hopefully, at this
you
conference.
really think that you're going to hold China accountable? Napoleon has
no,
had
but if we rally the
thoughts on
world
doing
stage,
that.
maybe we can make
and
some
look
difference.
how long
But
it's been. He said, "Wake China and so shake the world." Hundreds of years ago, and now you think you're going to control
Amen.
China? Did you
Amen,
see
Harris.
the pandemic? You're not going to control China. Jason?
No, you're right. You're right. But hopefully, if we can force some world action and hold their feet to the fire,
I adore you, but hope is
rally
not
the
a
world
strategy.
against them, maybe we'll see some
Jason.
difference. But
Well, there's a serious side here. I mean, it's easy to make fun of Kerry and the narcissism coming out of this crowd about saving the planet. But bad actors like Putin are watching this play out, and they want to take advantage of this narcissism. What's going on in Europe right now, Germany, the energy crisis, ought to be a cautionary tale about trying to run a modern economy on green energy and renewables and the agenda of the environmentalists. It does not work. And when you try and do that, you find yourself in the situation that Europe is in right now. So there's a very serious side to what's going on here that the left is ignoring.
Or the side that we're on right now. I mean, California being told you're going to have all electric run vehicles by 35. And by the way, over the summer, you can't plug in the ones you do have. All right, good to see you. Kevin, Jason, bring you back. Thank you. President